All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our friends from JCI, no matter where you are in the world. My name is Mohammad Hijazi from Lebanon, and I'm the JCI Vice President for Africa and the Middle East. Today, I am joined with 2020 JCI board members to discuss JCI's role during the coronavirus crisis. First of all, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe in light of this pandemic that is taking the world by storm. At JCI, we pride ourselves with our youthful members leading the world in creating positive change. As youth, we have to learn to be flexible and turn pandemics into opportunities for development. As it seems that this issue may need a few months to pass, we cannot stand by and watch this pandemic unfold without trying to impact our communities positively. JCI should be at the forefront of battling this pandemic in your country. This year's theme is Bridging the Gap. This is a great opportunity to apply it. First, by bridging the gap between our traditional manner of conducting events at JCI and the vast technological improvements that we can utilize to achieve positive change. And second, by bridging the gap between your national and local organizations and potential new partners who are working day and night to provide solutions and precautions for the COVID-19 pandemic. Before we start, I urge you to take the necessary precautions to protect yourselves, your fellow members, and your communities by following best practices, such as washing your hands regularly, trying not to touch your face, avoiding crowded places, wearing face masks and gloves when necessary, checking with a doctor and getting tested if you are feeling sick, especially if exhibiting COVID-19 symptoms, and practicing social distancing. Remember, even though the youth demographic is not the primary casualty of this disease, it is our job to prevent it from spreading to our vulnerable loved ones and communities at large. So now let's start by introducing today's panel. From West Indies, Executive Vice President for America, Kevin Hines. Kevin, would you like to say a few words?
Of course. And hi, everyone, and greetings from beautiful Barbados. And just like you, I'm here at home. You know, this is a pandemic that has touched every single one of us. Every single country across the world has been impacted. Now, the thing about it is that last year we took the initiative to select a new tagline, and that tagline was developing leaders for a changing world. Little did we know how prophetic that tagline would be. We here are leaders, and if we are supposed to be the leaders that are required to make a change and make a difference in this world, our world needs us. We are developing, so that means that we have to keep improving. And developing means that we're not going to stay in our current state, but we are going to improve to a better state. So what I want you to think about is, as you listen to every vice president here who has made themselves available to share with you, you know, in terms of their commitment, I want you to think about how you are going to advance yourself in terms of development, but not just advancing yourself, but how are you going to advance and develop others? Because that is how you're able to bridge the gap. That is how you're able to make a connection. So I know that we have a number of excellent leaders here who are going to share with you some ideas that will help you improve and manage yourself through this crisis. So just listen and engage with us. We want to hear from you as well, because in the end, it's not just about us, it's about how we improve together, because when it all boils down, we are all in this together. So I'm looking forward to engaging with you. Thanks, Mo.
Hello, everyone. I am Vice President from the America, Shenella, Govia, hailing from the beautiful paradise, the land of 365 beaches that unfortunately I cannot go at this time, Antigua and Barbuda in the heart of the Caribbean. I know that this is a time now when we're all at home, we're all worried, but this too shall pass. And guess what? you're not alone because we're all in this together.
Hello, I'm VP Heather Vardell from South Carolina in USA. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. However, we are all in this together. Please, we've heard you, we hear you. What is JCI doing to help the national and local organization? And we hope that this presentation here today at least starts bridging the gap between you and all sectors of society and how we can get through this together and come out stronger.
Greetings from Bulgaria. Here is Vice President Anna, and joining my colleagues, I would just say that you are not alone, and we are here really to share some experience, some inspiration, but also to get inspiration from all of you, because you are those that are doing the job on the ground, and you're showing us how it should be done. Now we are just sharing what you're doing and what you're inspiring us to do. Thank you.
And hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night from Stockholm, Sweden. So my name is Jenni Ahlstedt, and I'm also JCI Vice President assigned for Europe this year. In this panel discussion, my part will be telling about how to conduct the online meetings with our members, because of course we need to keep JCI going on and rolling on through this challenging time that we are facing now. And of course, yes, we're all in this together. And I just say one sentence now that I put even to my email signature for these times. Stay safe, wash your hands, support your local businesses, and stay positive.
And hello, everybody. This is Unotida, Nyoni, coming from Cape Town, South Africa. And it's very good to be here sharing this platform with these great leaders from all over the world. And it's good to have you around to engage with us and to talk to us about our way forward. Indeed, this time that we have here, what we're experiencing, we have not experienced before. And so it calls for all of us to engage and come in and share what we can. And so like what EVP Kevin was saying, we would expect that we engage, we share ideas, and we respond. And hopefully out of this will come out something beautiful that will turn our organization into a much better organization and our world into a much better world. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Uno. Did everyone introduce themselves? Apologies about the technical delays that we were having today, but with technology, we always have some technical issues. So thank you so much for the board members for being here with us, and thank you to social media assistant Anne Marion from the JCI headquarters for being on the back end and helping us with today's session. We are happy that you have joined us today for this session. We encourage you to take part of the discussion in the comments under this video, and we will also be taking your questions, so please leave them in the comments as well. We would also appreciate it if you share the live stream with your friends so that together we can make the biggest impact possible. So first of all, we're going to be starting with VP Shenella from West Indies on JCI's role in raising awareness, and I will be pulling up the slides right now. VP Shenella. VP Shenella, you are muted.
So at this time, while our lives may not be exactly how we would want it, so while some of us may not be able to enjoy the beach or perhaps have meetings within the comfort of a hotel room or conference room, it's still important for us to ensure that we do remain active citizens. And so we could launch online campaigns to provide our national and local communities with current and timely information. Now we know at this time, we have so many experts. Everyone think that they have an opinion on what COVID is and what we should do. So what you can perhaps do as a national and or local organization is to get reputable information from World Health Organization or your local health authorities and share that with your members. You can also have podcasts among your national and local organization discussing very important issues that's taking place all across the world. And if you don't have a member who is an expert or a medical practitioner to share information about COVID, you can reach out to medical practitioners or other individuals who know more about COVID and invite them. This is what we do as JCI members. We form partnerships, and this is a perfect opportunity for us to form partnerships with other experts who can share the information with us. We know at this time that there's so much information overload. You turn on the radio, even via WhatsApp, via social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's so much going on, and individuals want to know, how do I process this information? It's too much. How do I know which one is indeed accurate? So we want to advise as JCI members that follow the information of your local health authorities in your respective communities and your respective countries, and follow the World Health Organization's instructions. And at this time, JCI, we can play an important role in raising awareness that there is a future beyond this pandemic. You know, sometimes it's stormy, there's lots of rain, but at the end of it, there's going to be a rainbow and bright sunlight. At this time, just imagine that is what COVID-19 or the coronavirus, as we know, is doing to us. So while we feel as if, you know, things are not going the way that we would want, you may be at home bored, you know, you may not be able to visit your family members and friends or socialize with your other JCI colleagues. This is a time for us to reverse the negative trend, focus on the global goals and how we can achieve our targets by 2030. So let us all collectively remain optimistic that indeed there is a bright sunlight at the end of this very dark tunnel.
Thank you, VP Shenella, for your insights. And definitely, if you have any questions to VP Shenella or anyone on this broadcast, please leave them in the comments. And if you have any discussion regarding to any of the points or any concerns, also please discuss it in the comments below. Next up, VP Uno from South Africa will be discussing the topic about online individual and business development. VP Uno.
He's just messaged that he's having technical difficulties. Do you want to assign to someone else?
Yes, maybe we will continue and come back to VP Uno when he is able to join us.
Okay.
We are now on the topic of how can we conduct online membership meetings with VP Jenni from Sweden.
All right. Hi, everyone. One way, before going forward in the slides, one way to keep contact with JCI members and how to contact and conduct these online sessions with members is to put some energy there. Do something differently what you would have done otherwise in a live meeting. So I'd like now all of you joining this session, get up, stand up, get up from your chairs, also my colleagues. And we take a mini online meeting workout. So open your mouth very big and close it. Repeat 3 times. Very good. Then raise your shoulders higher, higher, and keep them there. And let go. Good. And then put your hands to your hips and move your hips to the right and your shoulders to left. And stretch a little bit. And turn the sides. And again, repeat 3 times. 2 and 3. And one last thing, your nose. Touch the floor with your nose. Good. Now we're energized to continue. So do something crazy sometimes with your JCI meetings with your members. They will be remembered. I'm the one who got your nose to the floor. Yes. All right. So I start with a strong argument. Everything can be adapted to held online. Don't you think so? You can challenge me. It really needs thinking outside the box. There's space for creativity, and it might even be a good time anyway to think and rethink the old habits. There's absolutely no need to turn everything around and to forget all the old good ways of doing things. So what do I mean with everything? Meetings for members, board, committees, or project groups, even trainings, both JCI official and recommended courses, as well as other skills development sessions designed by us members. Panel discussions like this one, brainstorming, TED Talks, serious or not so serious workout like we just had. And I even had informal coffee breaks with JCI UK and a pub quiz with JCI Scotland. So seek for variety, do some different things, and try not to limit the JCI activities just to formal meetings, because I believe it's important to remember that we have fun with our JCI friends. This is our free time hobby, even when including responsibilities. So let's do things that make us smile. And to make it concrete, how to do it then? Well, there are a lot of free tools, as well as paid applications and video networking platforms. And I myself am absolutely not a master using all these programs, but I encourage you to check some of them, try one, and if it didn't work out, pick up the next one. Some tools are free of charge to use and some have costs. The free trial period can also come to question if you don't want to use money, but rather to learn to use more tools and change when needed. Also, some applications have a free version for non-profit organizations to use, like Google. So that might also be a good alternative to check when thinking about signing into different platforms. We are in JCI to be better, and this Corona season is providing us now plenty of development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. So if you start with zero knowledge of digital tool, this is just perfect. Think how much you can learn when every new step is an achievement. That's great. I put some links to the comments of these slides, so you will get these afterwards to check some hints for the tools yourselves. And when thinking about the perfect program for your online session, think also what features are needed. Is it only you talking and showing your face to the muted audience, or sharing screen, using surveys and polls, needing whiteboard, dividing the participants to breakout rooms, all different needs. And I will tell you now some tools that we as JCI members have the possibility to use and organize meetings with. Of course, you might have some other programs or versions available through your work or otherwise, so there is absolutely not only one correct platform to use. Choose the best one. So with your JCI national organization, Google email account, country@jci.cc, so usually it's the national president or national board handling that account. You can organize Google Hangout or Meet sessions for up to 1,000 people, plus now at this moment even 100,000 viewers. Usually the limit there is 250, but for this Corona time it is upgraded a little bit. So this session everybody can attend just by clicking a link, and no other special accounts are needed. The package that we have for JCI is called G Suite for Education, if you want to check that for more information. And Skype, very good tool for calls or video calls, even WhatsApp if there's only a few participants. And then if you have like a tool that only lets you to like have a call and video maybe, you might even use some other tools like Google Drive documents for the meeting agenda if sharing a document might be difficult in that tool that you need. Zoom has been in the news lately for its safety challenges. And if organizing a Zoom meeting, remember to secure your session with a unique password. And now, because or thanks to the coronavirus, the time limit of 40 minutes per session on the free version has been removed. So we can also have now longer sessions with this one. Some JCI organizations have their own teams. And for example, JCI Europe has an account for Click Meeting, which I myself have been trying a couple of times. And if I can learn how to use that, so I'm sure anybody can learn. So there's also some links coming with those. For the tips and ideas session, I'd say some short things that, yeah, like today we had some technical challenges here in the beginning, so click online in a good time beforehand to start. And even you can have some extra tasks for those early arrivals if you want to award them by putting their time already earlier in. Check lighting, background, have water bottle, not a glass. Nearby, maybe pen and paper still might be needed. Don't have too long sessions because your audience might not be focusing for a very long time, especially if you don't have breaks between. But if you can make your session somehow interactive, so it will be focusing on and getting more interest, of course, of the participants. If you can have an assistant to help you with the session, that would be perfect. Think also, like, why are the people attending? Are they really getting return on investment of their time when joining your session? Well then, now during this time, members need to be engaged, and maybe more than ever now during this Corona time, if they can't even leave their houses. So use these various video networking platforms, and please use the video if possible, if you're not too many online at the same time, really getting better connection with your audience. Also, if you have formal meetings, so remember the benefits of the parliamentary procedure, so that the meeting is kept in order. There will be opportunities for all to be heard. The decisions will be made by majority, and still there's the protection for the minority. So just then check with the technical tool you're using how the voting and such can be done. But then, when we are in this time now, so planning for the future, that we can really focus on, do maybe even some longer strategical planning. Especially, I know there are some organizations that think that, yeah, it would be good to have a strategy, but we just haven't taken the time to do it. So maybe now is a perfect timing to do that kind of planning too, both to personal side, professional, and for JCI. But then to round up this part, I'd really like to encourage you and encourage members to keep healthy physically and mentally while staying at home. VP Shenella will later on tell more about the mental side, but one idea that I'd like to share that we had in one session with JCI Australia a couple of weeks ago, that remember to call, especially to those friends and family members who might not get any other calls that day. So maybe think about those who don't be so active online otherwise. So you can be the reason why somebody else starts smiling today. So that's all from my part. And now it's time for a very, very smiling colleague of mine to continue. VP Anna, there you go.
Thank you, VP Jenni, and for your intervention. And as you said, I would also personally recommend that meetings be conducted online during this time on all different levels. So it can be for project meetings, it can be local chapter meetings, it can be national board meetings, because we are stuck at home, but it doesn't mean that we cannot conduct meetings and check up on our JCI friends on all different levels. So thank you for this. And now I would like to ask VP Anna to discuss with us a bit on what can we do on the ground in this time. So if we're not doing things online, what can we do to do positive impact on the ground?
Thank you, Vice President Mo. There are a lot of things that we can do, even though we're staying home. And not all of the things that we can do are on the ground are exactly meaning that we are going out. But when we are going out and our members are out, we should keep in mind to protect them, to make sure that they are protected, either wearing masks or gloves, whatever it's needed. So keep in mind that before going on the ground. And from that part, a few ideas that you can take and use for your organization, for your activities, is like, one thing that you can do is to create a fund to respond to the global crisis. There are a lot of funds created, so you can address some specific challenge that is out there that is very specific for your community, for the people you're working for, or for the local community. And that is there. Another thing is like you can do is recognize and support the efforts of the first responders and essential workers in this crisis. I'm not talking only about the medical staff, but also people working in the groceries, in the pharmacies, because they're also in the front line and they're supporting us in going through this crisis. And we should do something for them, either to make sure that all of them are protected, having masks, having gloves, having other protection needed. And keep in mind that maybe in the local small grocery stores, they will need also something more than that. And also when you're going to shop, this is something you personally can do. Just keep in mind that also they are working with a lot of people, so you can just do something for them, either just smiling to them. Also, another thing that maybe you can do is look for specific needs created by the current situation, find solutions for them. One example is now in many countries, students are going online, studying online, but do we know if all of them have the infrastructure to study? Do all the students, even sometimes teachers, do they have computers? Do they have access to internet? So one thing that we can do actually is to provide this to them, either to create a campaign collecting computers and or notepads or even phones if it's working for them, and distribute them to the communities, to the people that need them. I've seen a lot of projects like that, even for JCI members and organizations. So you can just try to find more information for that. I will share some resources. Another thing is to provide information for foreigners living in your city or country who does not speak the local national language. This can be done even online. And this thing is done actually by JCI Poland. And they're very happy to share how they're doing it, because it's very important also for people who doesn't speak the language to be informed and know what is going on, either in a legal site or medical site, or just any type of information that could be important for them. Also, create a blood donation campaign. Currently, there is a lower donating campaigns, but the need of blood is out there. So one thing we as JCI members can do is really to do such campaign to raise awareness about this need and create ways how we can do that. Either to create a special campaign with where you can secure the needed protection, this to be done in a good way, together with health organizations that in your city or in your country. And the next thing that you can do for like we can do a lot of things, but to provide most vulnerable with basic supplies, food, medicine. It can be done in different campaigns, or you can just join another campaign. But we know already a few organizations doing it. JCI Malta had a very good project, Buy a Meal, that was actually followed by JCI Serbia, and they're doing something similar in their country. And they, for a few days, they got a great results, are supporting those who doesn't have the access or the funds to buy a meal, which is something very basic these days and very important. Also, you can help with legal advices, those who would need such, because currently there are a lot of people maybe that they need it. Either they are losing their jobs, they have troubles with their companies, and we know that a lot of people in JCI actually are working, are lawyers or just have a legal background. So why not to use these resources that we have and support the community that is needing it now? Another thing is to help people with jobs matching and finding alternative jobs relevant to them. As mentioned already, a lot of people losing jobs, but it's not when they lose jobs, maybe there are a lot of other opportunities for them, and we can create some platform or some initiative to find a best match, a job match for those people, because maybe in other sector they will find job with their corresponding to their skills, knowledge, and experience already. So why not thinking about also doing that? Also, we can help the local business by providing alternative solutions for them. Different ways that they can do their business, different ideas. For example, providing some information for local restaurants, how they can provide their food by deliveries, going online, etc. It's very important to give the knowledge to those who doesn't have it or don't have it in mind. Also, another option is to pre-book or voucher projects for local businesses. I know a few organizations are in Germany, not only in Germany, but other countries are doing something similar. So they're helping with local businesses to prepare vouchers where people can actually pre-book some service or pre-book some, I don't know, some supply or something that they can actually pay for it and take it later or use it later. So it could be a good idea for a project that you can do on the ground. And one last idea I can give you, it's like simply following the SDGs, because following them you can come up with the great ideas what you can do on the ground during this time, and have an inspiration, and actually we can work on SDGs even now. Thank you.
Thank you, VP Anna, for the great ideas that you have shared with us. And I would also like to stress on the point that if we are going to do something on the ground, something physical, make sure that we're abiding by the laws and the measures that are being put forth in our communities or by our government, so that we don't get our organization in trouble. And also make sure that our volunteers know the risk of going down, having them make sure that they are very well prepared in terms of getting masks, getting sanitizers, gloves, all of these things, and make sure that none of our members are in any risk. Now I would like to go back to VP Uno, since we missed his part. VP Uno, are you with us? You are muted, so please unmute yourself. Okay, but VP Uno will also be talking about online individual and business development during this time.
Thank you, Vice President Moore. Because of what has been happening in the past few weeks, or should I say months, with COVID-19, we have a lot of challenges that have come to our members and our communities. Those that hit home would be, a business owner who says, now what do I do at this time? I've got a crisis. Or that for us with members who are saying, I'm about to lose employment, or I have lost employment because of COVID-19. And with that pain comes an opportunity for JCI to come through for our members and for the community through online individual and business development programs. Number one, the online and business and individual development programs help people to stay at home. And so it's a fantastic solution for people to stay at home whilst they are looking for solutions for these problems that have come through. So I think you need to go to the slide right above. VP more. Okay, so the first thing that we should look into is to creating online events to create better teams. If you were doing something online, so members were meeting up, the thing with the problem now is that we are no longer able to meet. But online, we can actually still have the same meeting feeling, the connecting feeling. So you need to be able to move with the times now and create online meetings. And online meetings not necessarily be confined to business meetings. You can create an online networking event where people actually talk business if they need to talk business, or people get to know each other better if they need to get to know each other better. But they can also be social in nature, such that people get to have fun. So happy hour events, things that you could look at, you know, if you were conducting award ceremonies, you can still do that online. I'm sure VP Jenni was expressing which platforms we could use to get this to happen, but it's very, very possible for people to continue to connect. If you didn't have a book club is a good idea. People get to read and get to share those ideas with you. Discussions, debates, people can still hone their public speaking and debating skills online. Like we are doing here, we can actually do debates and we can actually do public speaking competitions, get people who rate them online. And that way people are developing a skill that they didn't have before. But not only that, I'm sure we've seen people having cooking sessions, music sessions, meditation. You know, we can have fun. We can work out together. You know, one of the problems with staying at home is that you can relax a little bit and start to gain a lot more weight than you need. So you can create events that solve those kinds of problems. When it comes to JCI business too, you can go and host online workshops so that your members can still learn while staying at home. Within JCI now, we are able to host and to do online workshops for all our official courses. So if you want to do leadership training, if you want to do JCI Impact, JCI Achieve, this is such a huge opportunity for you to do that. And the great thing now is that the members that come to your training are not limited to your local organization. It is a global world that we are in, and so it helps for people to come through. But you can also extend that even and go to non-official courses. You know, let your members design some courses or coordinate with your university that's close to you or online universities that are free and see what your members can learn from there. If you could please go to the next slide, VP Mo. The next thing that we need to do on an online platform is to know that if we had projects already running, we can start looking at those projects and say, what about this project can we do online right now? So if you had an action plan that was going up to December, there are some things on your project that you may not be able to do now. But what are those things that you are able to do? If you can do them now, please take them online and start doing those things. Meetings can still happen with partners online for your projects. You can still look for sponsorship for your projects online. The other idea is, you know, this is one of the biggest crises we have experienced in our lifetime, but who says this is the last? We need to develop crisis management capabilities. So develop some form as we are going through this process, learn something around it and start developing a crisis management training course in your local organization. What happens when this happens again? Let us also make use time to sharpen our swords. And just a last one there is to say to every individual listening and to every individual member of JCI, find a way to contribute to someone, and you can do it online. Find a way to make someone's life better. You can make them smile online. You can make them learn online. You can design a training that can be given online. So there is a lot of development opportunities for your business. There's a lot of development opportunities for individuals who are within JCI. Thank you very much, VP Mo.
Thank you, VP Uno, for your insights. And I want to add, I've recently have witnessed a very interesting event by one of the local chapters in JCI Côte d'Ivoire. They actually hosted a karaoke event where people can, on Facebook, where people can go and sing and share their talents, if you like. And also it's a way to bond with your members in this time where people are stuck at home. They're very bored. They might be doing work away from home, but they're not doing the socializing aspect. So also having that, you can be very creative with what you do online during this time. Another thing I want to mention is related to the online individual and business development. The JCI Skills Development Committee is hosting a trainers forum. And if you want to learn more about how to conduct training in online during this time and learn more about what's happening in terms of skills development, this session is, the last session that they're hosting is on April 21. We will post the link to that in the comments. So if you are a trainer and you would like to learn more about what's going on in this in this field, please check that out. And I'm sure the Skills Development Committee will really appreciate it. Now I would like to welcome VP Heather Vardell from the US to discuss with us how we can conduct outreach to our partners and how we can apply the active citizens framework during this time. VP Heather.
Thank you, VP Mo. Hello, everyone. So a lot of people have been asking what kind of platform we should be looking at outside of or when this is all over and how we can make an impact. And we actually, in my personal opinion, already have a platform, which is the Active Citizenship Framework. So during this time, start researching who is active in the response in your community and how you can offer to partner with them and their goals so that you're not reinventing the wheel. But also encourage your members to participate in other national and local organization events. Some of my colleagues have already talked about other events that have gone on in other countries around the world. Continue to bridge that gap of our international organization and what that can look like. Just because we are all stuck at home, we are still a part of an amazing organization all around the world. We are sitting here listening from people from all Europe, South Africa, and Africa, Middle East, and the West Indies, and here in the US. So continue to network throughout the international organization. Next slide, please, Mo. Join another project or initiative. So we want to be an organization that unites all sectors of society, but we can't do that alone. So start looking at the SDGs in support of specifically number 17, partnerships for the goals. We believe that this is one of the SDGs that JCI is capable of achieving in the great impact. So start looking at the SDGs in your local community, the ACF in your local community, but also not reinventing the wheel, as I've said, and partnering with other organizations and uniting all sectors for your specific needs in your community. Again, that will be different in all of our communities. That's the beauty of the Active Citizenship Framework. Joining collective efforts across the local and national organization eliminates the possibility of multiple organizations. At this time, sponsorship is probably going to be very difficult due to the pandemic that's going on. So if you as local organizations and a national organization can focus on collectively gaining partners and sponsors as one versus multiple small ones that would benefit those sponsors and more likely get a result and an answer. Next slide. So use the ACF on a smaller scale to start planning for the future. Does your local and national organization already have a list of partners? If not, you can use this time to start researching who the sectors are in the society, their contact information, their email, their phone number. Go in and start reaching out to them, letting them know that you're here. They might not be ready to start planning something today just because we don't know when this is all over, but make sure they know who you are. The vision of this organization is to be the leading global network of young active citizens. And the only way we're going to get that is if people start knowing who we are. So tell them about your chapter, tell them about your members, tell them what you can realistically do, but don't oversell your local organization at the same time. Make sure that, that these partners and these different people know your capacity and what you can and can't do, but also that they have your contact information and that you're willing to help. Again, as VP Mo says, always practicing the best practice of your government and being safe. Next slide, please, Mo. So how to prepare for the online visits. So we, as your vice presidents, are here to help you during this difficult time. I've already joined a local membership meeting, and I'm not sure if this pandemic didn't happen, that would have ever been thought of, because they meet in person versus virtually. So how can you utilize your VP during this time? Maybe start planning some, instead of in-person meetings, are different sponsors and donors willing to meet with your vice president virtually? So what meetings would normally happen in person, are they willing to move those to a virtual setting that VP Jenni pointed out earlier? So this is a time to really think outside the box and utilize the tools we already have in our tool belt without reinventing the wheel. I think that's, nope, there's one more. So partner outreach and the ACF. So partnerships are essential and will play a large part in how we recover and emerge from this type of crisis. But JCI should be there ready to unite all of those sectors of society. If the active citizenship framework was ever going to work, now is the time it's going to work. So other nonprofit organizations, the private sectors, now is the time during the downtime to start getting all of that contact information, setting up a plan, and really looking at what your community needs are when this is over and how you can be there to help unite all of those sectors. Review the opportunities for collaboration, reach out to these organizations, and start brainstorming on ideas so that when this is over, you are standing there ready for a plan as a national and local organization. Next slide.
Okay, thank you, VP Heather, for your insights. And as you said, it's very important for us to engage our partners during this period. It might not be something that we do that we create the biggest event of our JCI organization. Right now, the more that we can support other partners, the more we can improve our society, in a sense where what we can do is, for example, assist other organizations in creating homemade masks if they're doing that, assisting as much as possible in food drives and in donations, because a lot of our communities cannot afford to find food right now, and there's a lot of shortages all over the world. In food supplies, food banks cannot keep up. So maybe you can also do a food drive with one partner that their main mission is doing food drives or food banks or getting access to food. You can also help with access to education during this time, even access to entertainment, access to health information. You might not be the expert on these topics, but maybe you can partner with these organizations that might have a shortage of volunteers or shortage of resources. And this is where you can make a massive impact during this crisis.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. Do you have anything else to add, VP Heather?
I would just also add that now's the time to also plan, I mean, everything that VP Mo said, but also plan for when this is over. There's a lot of questions about what JCI will look like when this is over, but it's going to look like however we plan for it to look like. So start planning of what your specific community will need and how you as the leading, the leaders of your local community can be there to help bridge the gap of all of these sectors.
Thank you. That's actually a great point that EVP Kevin will talk about in a bit. So thank you for that segue into that topic. So now I will give the microphone to EVP Kevin from West Indies to discuss, first of all, using the crisis to recruit members.
Yeah,
EVP Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Mo. And hi, everyone, again. I hope that everyone is enjoying, what is being imparted in terms of the knowledge from the VP so far. And I want you to kind of even think back to 10 years ago, 5 years ago, probably 10 years more likely. If something like this had happened, what position we would be in? And then go a little bit further. Think about those persons who would have been the leaders for JCI in the 60s and 70s. They would have loved the opportunities that we have in terms of technology to be able to share and engage with other members. This is now our opportunity to be able to share and engage persons who are not part of our organization, but who we believe can be a part of our organization. Many times we hear when we come into this organization, or at least we used to hear it in my country years ago, that JCI was one of the best kept secrets. What I can tell you is that if you keep this organization as a secret, it's not going to grow. This is your opportunity to start to look at brainstorming. Think about the types of membership that you have. Is it a possibility for you to think outside the box and probably even look at having an online type of membership where you have persons who are influencers and persons who are engagers, who deal in terms of engagement, where you look at the possibility of, someone does not necessarily have to have a physical presence, but they can engage remotely. How can we do that? How can we make sure that we look at tweaking our membership engagement or membership recruitment process to make sure that this happens? Another thing that we have is and it was spoken about, in terms of online training by Jenni, is that by VP Jenni, is that we have so many different platforms now that we can engage members. And it is very important that we utilize these tools in a very creative way. You're all young people. Young people, the thing about us is that we have the ability to think a little differently. We are not so steadfast in our ways that we are rigid and not, and are very resistant to change. Because we are young, we are usually able to embrace change a lot better. Remember, we're developing leaders for a changing world. So now that persons have a little bit more time, how can we make sure that we utilize these platforms, the utilization of Facebook Live like we're doing now, utilization of the Instagram Live as well. I see different things in terms of TikTok that persons are doing. How can we use these to send a message that we are creative and that we are a leadership organization who is looking to make sure that we come out of this pandemic a more positive society? So, and I saw Jenni did a little bit of an exercise, and I got the opportunity to partake in that, but do not just utilize the tools for your normal formal activities. Find ways in which you can engage persons, and these persons do not necessarily have to be within your local organizations, but they could be persons who are, who are potential members of your organization. So you have social activities. I I know Mo has a dance-a-thon that he has had going on, and this is something that you can use. The different Zoom. I find people have their exercise and workout classes. That is something that is actually promoted by my local organization, and I believe it's something that you can also look at, right? But this is our opportunity to be innovative and show forth our youthfulness, our ability to think. And it doesn't have to be formal, but it can also be informal. But remember, in doing all of these, it doesn't matter that you're doing it online. Usually the practices, they still continue. So being able to conduct a meeting online is still similar. You still have the similar protocols to you conducting that meeting when you are in person. You still respect others' views. You allow the opportunity for everyone to have the ability to be heard. You make decisions based on the majority. So you still carry on those parliamentary procedures to make sure that you have effective meetings. Persons will still be attracted to this because they realize that you're not doing something that is just going to be chaotic, but you have order. So utilize your training. Make this as an opportunity to be able to engage members, but make it attractive. If you do this and you find out ways in which you make sure that all of your activities are relevant, so you make sure that they have to, that you look at things that are relevant within our communities today. Right now, many persons who are at risk, they are struggling to find, to make ends meet in terms of finding food during the lockdown. How are we able to make sure that we care about these persons, that we extend a helping hand to these persons, right? We heard Jenni, I also speak about, and also you've also the opportunity now for persons to be able to look at investing in your local businesses because they're also struggling through. How can we make things easy for them? This is where you will have persons being inspired to join. I was very happy to see, across the world, we have a number of national organizations who are doing initiatives which are relevant. I see in terms of, I heard it already mentioned by Anna about Poland in terms of Poland alerts. And then here in the Americas, where we have Bolivia bringing together our leaders in terms of think tanks there as well as to how we would approach this crisis together. We also had from Colombia, they're looking at how are we going to have active citizens, right? The journey of active citizen, people sharing their journey along this process. And even in terms of innovation, how many of you have gone and listened to JCI Canada's podcast and their interview with our international president in Itai? These are all things that we can do to show members that we are connected to them and we are relevant and we are engaging them. You can go to the next slide. No. As we speak a little bit more about your strategy, and this is very important because our strategy still has not changed. Our strategy still remains relevant today. Many of you in your local settings, your local organizations, this is an opportunity for you to take the time to make sure that you align your strategy for your local organizations to your national and JCI international strategy. Are you aligned as it relates to impacting your community and impacting your organizations and your members? Are you making sure that you have programs that are motivating to your members? Have you invested in the platforms that your members can use to make sure that they have an impact? Are you collaborating with other partners? We heard Heather speak a little bit about partnership, and it's not just about, being quiet, but getting out there and letting them know who you are. How can you make a difference? How can you make a difference in the world and how can you make a difference in your communities? Seek out your partnerships, other NGOs, And because we want to be the organization that unites all sectors of society, we don't just leave it there, but this is our opportunity to see where are the gaps within our society. How can we bridge the gaps from NGOs to the governments, and not only to the governments, but also to the private sector? How can we have those conversations going? Very important is our ability to also look at our programs and evaluate our programs. A number of our projects we have been doing year over year, just because we have been doing it, without thinking exactly what is this project, what part does this project play in our long-term goal as an organization? Is it a sustainable project? Is this project, can this project be connected to the Sustainable Development Goals? Are these projects, relevant to us achieving the 2030 global goals? How can we make sure that that happens? Ask the difficult questions, right? Don't just do a project just because. This is your time to brainstorm with your local members, with your national office, and find out exactly what can I do to make a difference overall. Do we have to carry on this project? Or is this something that we can change to make sure that we have another project which is more relevant to our organization, right? And you have to do this through brainstorming. Don't just do it on your own. If you're the local president, this is not a time for you to make a decision by yourself. If you're the national president, this is not a time for you to make a decision by yourself. Engage your membership. Let them be a part of this, because once you get their buy-in, then that has all the potential to be more sustainable. Redefine your organization. And that leads us to the last one, which is connection. We need to engage our members and make sure that they are very much a part of this organization as we go through the pandemic, and then as we exit the pandemic to the changed world that we have. The final slide for me is that in all of this, one of the key things that we need to do is utilize the tools that we have available. So if you do not have your implementation, your social media strategy, I am telling you today, this is your time to make sure that you implement one. And if you do have one, make sure that you revise it to make sure that it's aligned to what it is that you want as your goal. So is it updated? Do you have all of your different projects there? Do you have your contact information there? Can people get hold of you if they want to reach out to you? This is where you need to be relevant. Make sure that you conduct things such as Facebook Lives. Have an opportunity for persons to touch base with you, to ask you a question, to find out a little bit more. It's an opportunity also for you to be able to engage others, persons who know, who are experts in their fields. Give them an opportunity to speak to your members. And remember, it's not just even here in your local space. So when I do something, it's not just here for Barbados, but you can do initiatives that are not only going to touch your local and national organizations, but you have the ability to touch on a global scale. Use that network. And when it all boils down, remember, this is only but just a phase. In 1915, Henry Gissenberg, he stepped out and he formed this organization, creating a legacy, and we can remember him today, 100+ years later. But you need to recognize that he also would have formed this organization and then quickly after went through a global pandemic when they had the Spanish flu. But that did not stop them during that time, and they did not give up on this organization. So therefore, it's important that each and every single one of you understand that this is a chance for you to also stamp your legacy. Stamp the legacy to be the person who reversed the trend and who within JCI and who made JCI relevant in their communities and caused JCI to rise during and after this pandemic process. So this is a time for you to chart where is it that you want your organization to be? How is it that you're going to make things even better than it is today? So in the end, remember what our overall vision is to be, right? Remember what our strategic objective is. We want to be the organization that unites all sectors of society. We can do that together, but we need to plan, we need to think outside the box. We need to understand how our strategy will make sure that we make that happen. So these are just a little bit of things that I wanted to share with you today. And I'm sure that you can take those and also all the advice that the others have been sharing with you to make sure that your organization rises far above this global pandemic and that we come out having a successful 2020. Thanks, Mo.
Thank you, EVP Kevin, for your insight. And I would like to take the opportunity here to plug in some promotion for 2 new courses that we have this year. In terms of recruitment, last year we launched the new official course, Engage, Empower, Grow, which is a course on how national and local organizations can create a recruitment strategy. Now, of course, there are a lot of traditional things in the course, but we can also learn on how to try to use online tools, for example, to recruit. And if you would like to conduct that course for any of your national or local organizations, all the board members on this call, in addition to some other vice presidents, EVPs, and skills development committee members are already certified in this course. So it would be a good idea to conduct that. And I know VP Jenni has conducted this course online for the first time. So she can also share with you her experience later on. Another course that is being tested right now is the marketing strategy for JCI organizations, which is a course that I am developing, and it was supposed to be tested this year at the area conferences. We tested it last year at the World Congress, and this course will help you learn how to set a marketing strategy. And to shift your marketing strategy now, due to the pandemic, you can also request to have that course trained online for your organization. Next up, we will go back to VP Shenella to discuss a very important issue, which is mental health. Now that most of us are being stuck at home, and for me, it's been 40 days where I've left my house 3 times to go to the supermarket. So there's a lot of issues that you might be facing and your members might be facing during this time. So I will go back to VP Shenella to discuss how we can combat this issue at JCI.
Thank you very
Shenella.
much. Our mental health is very important. It is a vital part of our life. It impacts your thoughts, your behavior, and emotions. So while we're leaders in our respective local and national organizations, remember that first, we're human beings. And so we have feelings. It's okay to reach out to our members, send a WhatsApp, find out how they're doing. Sometimes you never know what your one message, how it can change a person's entire day. It can improve their mood. And if you're not necessarily as close to that member as another member, reach out to another member who could speak to that member to find out, are you okay? A simple message to say, good morning, stay safe. How are you doing today? It's very important that we remain connected with our members. And what we can also do is create online activities to alleviate some of these problems that members may be going through. You know, have games, JCI USA, they have games on Saturdays where they play Uno, Family Feud. JCI Lebanon, as I've mentioned previously, has the online music, so you could dance along, sing along. You can have online karaoke's. Find ways to keep members engaged. It is very important because while we're going through this pandemic right now, when it's all settled and there's bright sun at the end of this rainbow, we would want to ensure that we still have our membership. We also have to focus on retention. You can even do online surveys to find out what would our members need this time. Some of us would want some emotional support just to see that our local president, our national president, our members feel concerned about us. Sometimes you don't know what an individual or member is going through within their respective homes. As VP Mo would have alluded to, he has been home for the last 40 days. For some of us who are accustomed to being outdoors from work to home to JCI meetings, it may be extremely difficult at this time for us. So it's very important that we stay connected with our members. Mental health is very important. You never know what a simple message could do to change someone's mood. And sometimes an individual just want to hear from someone. They may be having a bad day, so depressed at home, and you sending that message can brighten up their day. So I want us to continue to remember that although we are leaders and we have lots of things going on, some of us are still working from home, there's some people who may not even be with a job. Find out, how can I help you? And this is what we do as active citizens. We still have to show that we care. We as JCI members, we still love, appreciate, and value our members, and that we're all in this together. So while a member may put up a WhatsApp or profile picture indicating that, you know, they're okay and they change their profile picture, it does not necessarily mean that they're 100% okay. They may be operating at 50%, and your message, your telephone call can allow them to reach to 100%. Cheer them up. You know, some of us may be natural comedians, natural jokers, you know, so reach out to members to find out, hey, how they're doing. Perhaps they would just want to hear your voice, to feel cheered up, to feel encouraged. And so this is a perfect opportunity for us to capitalize. While we're going through this pandemic, all is not lost. We're all in this together, and to stay in contact with our members. There's so many online platforms now that ordinarily would have had a cost associated with it. The online platforms that you could utilize for free. And if you do not have direct access to that online platform, you could speak to another member, find out this is a time, JCI, we're a global organization. If one local organization does not have access to Zoom, a free Zoom account, reach out to your VP, executive vice president, and find out, do you have access to a Zoom account? We want to have an online meeting because we're all in this together. So remember always to check up on your members, because what you don't want is that during this pandemic, you completely forget about your members. And then when our lives get back to normalcy, that you then now approach that member. You know, no one would want to feel as if I'm only now remembered because we're going to have a project in our community and we need the support, we need membership involvement. This is not when we should remember our members. Even now, in the heart of this crisis, this is where our members need us much more than before. So let us continue to find creative ways. I've been following all of the national and local organizations, see them on Facebook, on Instagram, and all of the informative and really creative forums that they're having. And at this time, I mean, most of the national and local organizations, the forum is open, where ordinarily we're confined to a hotel room or conference room, and you may not be able to actively participate because our lives now are virtually. You could join in. So you could see how a national or local organization from somewhere else across the world is partaking in a particular activity, and you could learn and participate as well. So always remember that our mental health is very important. It is a vital part of your life. And perhaps if a member is not responding as you would want that member to respond at that particular time, find out from someone who's close to the member. Hi, do you know what's up with John? Is John doing okay? I sent John a message and, you know, I didn't get the response from John that I thought I would normally get. You know, you may not necessarily have the answer or know what is happening in John's life. So identify a member who could communicate much better with John than you can. And continue to check up and communicate with our members, because now more than ever, we need them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, VP Shenella, for this very inspiring push to take care of our mental health and the mental health of our members. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to say hello to everyone who is on the live stream right now. I'd like to mention, I saw President Itai Manyere from Zimbabwe. He's also on this session, and thank you so much for joining us. And I'd also like to recognize SG Kevin Hin, Secretary General of JCI from Monaco, who's also here with us. And thank you so much for your support. I've also saw VP Achille and VP Mark, VP Achille from Benin, VP Mark from the UK. Hopefully I did not miss anyone. Thank you so much for all the national presidents who are tuning in, the local presidents, the local board members, the senators. Thank you for more than 300 comments right now. I would also like to remind you that if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, as we will address them after the last intervention by VP Anna. So please, also, if you have any outstanding ideas that your local organizations have done during this time that we haven't talked about, please share them in your comments, in the comments, so that people can get inspired and do similar events. So we already mentioned the karaoke events, the awards. I saw somewhere JCI Canada is doing a stay-at-home gala. So share with us what your national or local organizations are doing during this time, so that we can inspire our members and actually show how we are a global organization that is well connected. The last intervention will be by VP Anna from Bulgaria. She will be giving us some tips on how we can manage everything that we've talked about today during this time. VP Anna?
Thank you. Well, a lot of things were mentioned. Thank you for all who participated and shared and inspired. And I will say a few things that may be useful for you. We'll start with one thing that now is the time to test your ideas on a small scale. For example, deliver a training on a special topic to a few members, get feedback on how it can be improved, and later to do it for more people online, or when we can see together live, we can do it live. This time is a good opportunity to test ideas, concept, and etc. So take it and use it. Also show the meaning of leadership. Now is the time to do it. We are the leaders of this organization, and we are a leadership organization in general. And what leaders do? Leaders set directions, build an inspiring vision, support others to become better. It is important to set the right direction together with others. Leaders do not know everything, but could work with other people to know more. Build an inspiring vision based on the direction set, and support others on their way to become better people, professional citizens. Today is very important to be real leaders and show by example how to respond to challenges. We should be first on stepping up with ideas, actions, support on good ideas of others, be there for others, inspire them. Find ways to do that by meeting with members and partners, deliver planning sessions, propose concrete solutions, get informed, and share reliable and relevant information. But also not forget to have fun and find ways to enjoy this time. Now it's very important to keep the spirit up, make something enjoyable during your meeting. For example, when I was attending JCI Sweden meeting, we were supposed to wearing hats, and I have my hat still here with me, so I use it. I hope that you'll find more hats for the next meetings. It could be a fun photo video competition, unlike karaoke event already mentioned that is done, wearing funny hats as mentioned, or other accessories during your meetings. Also be constantly present online. We are doing it, but not only by meetings, but really show that you're there, that you're doing something, way to inspire. even without having a specific event or project to talk about, make sure that your organization is active online. You can share a lot of content, reshare JCI Facebook page posts, have throwback posts, and so much more. Now, especially, it's very crucial to show that JCI is active. It is good time to learn more how to do it and create a good plan for that. You can make it a call for new members with showing all areas of opportunities that we have, and use the resources already existing, many online trainings available, amazing projects to be reshaped and put in action if more people join. And actually, if someone is thinking, what can I do? They can just join JCI now and take an action. And also learn from others. Many good ideas are out there. They're big or small, take them, use them. No need to create new, but only to reshape for your need and capacity. Identifying and understanding behaviors is also important. Some people maybe have different moves, changing personality, not personalities, but changing modes. And also VP Shenella mentioned about the mental health. So keep that in mind and find ways how to approach that and how to understand these different behavioral patterns. And on the next slide, I will talk also for the plan for the future. We are living in a dynamic times. Turbulences like the current one is not something new. It happens even before. So we should be flexible, adaptable, and always ready to answer to these changes and to these challenges. As Vice President Heather said, the future will be as we made it. So let's make it better. Also look for new opportunities to come and be ready to take them. Be ready for to use the 4 areas of opportunities that JCI has and to reshape them and make them even better and even more responsive for the needs of our members and the community. Be creative, be innovative in the solutions you provide. We already mentioned the online award ceremony that was done by JCI Finland, and other organizations are doing it. You can plan online board games. Why not? Because we are doing it basically and the same way. Be brave, be bold in your actions. Again, we'll mention the one project of JCI Finland that they are doing a 24-hour learning marathon that a lot of other organizations are joining, and I'm looking for that. Hope most of you will attend it. And as a final, keep in mind that every action matters, small or big, personal or done with others. The most important is to address the needs and challenges, take opportunities to bring positive change and sustainable impact for the organization and for the community. Thank you for attending this, and I'm giving the floor to Vice President Mo.
Thank you, VP Anna, for the great tips. And I hope that even if you didn't use all of the tips that we talked about today, you can take some things back to your national and local organizations to encourage them to be more active during the pandemic. We will be taking your questions now. There's a few questions that we had. If you still have any questions, please, this is the last notice to leave them in the comments. So give me 1 second. Okay, so there is a question related to hosting online events. So someone is asking about how can we actually host events such as ceremonies or awards during these difficult times. And I think that also question is related to the Americas conference, which was postponed till next year. So maybe if EVP Kevin is with us, you can first of all talk about how we can conduct such ceremonies like galas and awards and maybe public what is called the public speaking competitions and all those. Can these be done online? And how will you do that and manage that for the Americas conference?
Yeah, so it's really unfortunate. Thanks, Mo. And it's a good question. And it's really unfortunate that we are faced in a position where, this is unprecedented. And we were faced with a very difficult decision, and that was that we had to cancel our conference for this year. And obviously it's very tough for myself as well as a number of the VPs, 2 of whom are on this call. and all of the national presidents and everyone, including all the members of JCI America. And I thank you for your understanding as we go through this, because we recognize that this is a time where you get the opportunity to engage, showcase everything that you've done, and be able to reach out and touch your members, your fellow members from across the area. Unfortunately, we will be in a position now where we are going to, have to think outside the box. But is that really such an unfortunate thing? I think that is actually an opportunity. And as we were thinking about this, one of the ideas that came up is, even though we're canceling our conference physically, does that mean that we have to cancel everything? Or can we do a couple of things virtually? And I think that in terms of utilization of technology, as I had spoken about a little earlier, and as Jenni had spoken about as well, we have different platforms. We have our Google Hangouts and Google Meet. We have the Zoom that we're using right now today, engagement via Facebook. So this is an opportunity for us to be able to think outside the box, see if we can put on for a gala ceremony, we can still go through, you submit all of your different awards and we still showcase those, but you being physically distanced from each other and still being able to look at and see, what others have done across the area, what are the different projects that persons have done, how they've gone about doing these projects, how persons have been innovative in light of the crisis, what type of campaigns they have done, and also opportunity for you to network with each other, but online. We just want to be able to do the same thing, but using a different medium. And I think it's very important that we understand that these are different times, but it doesn't have to cripple us. It's an opportunity for us to think, be innovative. If you have ideas out there in terms of how you believe we can do certain things, you can feel free to let us know as well. Drop me a line and let me know. Drop any of the VPs a line as well. It is still a lot in development. Everything is not finished, but we want to see how we can utilize our services at headquarters to make this happen. And finally, when you think about or public speaking and also debating competitions, these two activities may be a little different, and based on our engagement with specialists in this area, we believe that it may not be possible to do them online as we had previously anticipated we might be able to, because of how the judging criteria is for these. And it's a possibility that what we are going to do is see how we can transition these particular activities or competitions or programs into our World Congress. Our World Congress is still on. And if you haven't registered as yet, make sure that you try to do so before, I think the new thing is June or July. So make sure that you have a couple months, but make sure that you do so. Come to our World Congress, and then we'll be able to actually exercise these activities as well. You'll be able to participate and make sure that we have a very fulfilling, world public speaking competition in the end, as well as our debating competitions. So this is opportunity, just to recap, this is an opportunity for us to think outside the box. We are going to make it a fantastic experience using the best mediums that we have possible. Bring your vibes, bring your energy, and just come prepared to have fun. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, EVP Kevin, for that answer. Another question, we have a couple of questions related to training. The first one is about, are there any guidelines to host online trainings for JCI courses, especially for a few courses which require heavy activities. I'm going to quickly address this one. So as I said, some of the courses you can conduct online. There was a session by the Skills Development Committee on how to conduct JCI courses online. So they've already succeeded in training a lot of the courses. Some courses such as facilitator and presenter, which require a lot of physical presence, you may not be able to do them online, but most of the JCI official courses, you can do that. So we can link you to the live stream of that video if you'd like to go into more depth of how to conduct official JCI courses and watch that live stream by Skills Development Committee Chair Michelle and 2019 Vice President Jay Johnson. Another question that I will address to VP Uno is, do we have an online skills training tips or any training on how to inspire our members on creative positive impact? So VP Uno, and if any other VPs would like to join, what are some tips that you have for conducting a training online?
All right. Thank you very much, VP Mo, for that question. So when it comes to tips on how we can train better online, there are quite a number. But as you said, the training that the Skills and Development Committee had on how to conduct online trainings would really help you to see most of the tips that help. But some of the ones that have been helping me a lot, especially using Zoom, have been creating a lot of engagement. So breakout rooms have been working for us a lot. So if you are training and you've got a group of 30 people and you want to do some group activities, there's a facility within Zoom where you can go in and create breakout rooms where members get to meet. And given the international flair that we're having now, where people are coming from all over the world, those breakout rooms are very fantastic for connecting, and it's amazing. The other one on Zoom as well is when you are training, people can be sending messages on the chat box. And as they do that, you get to understand how they're thinking and what they're doing. So the more engaged they are, the more connected you are with them. And if you're using Skype, the same thing could happen. You could get people asking questions online. Other tips would be prepare on time to make sure that you are on time for those sessions, because sometimes technology has a way of disturbing the way you do things. So, just be prepared to take a little bit more time than you would physically. But there is lots of tips. Even if you go on YouTube, you could get a lot on how online training can still be as fantastic as meeting in person, if not even more fantastic. Those are my tips from my side, VP Mo.
Thank you, EVP. Thank you, VP Uno. Does any of the other board members have anything to add to what VP Uno had said? Okay, then definitely look for some tips on how to conduct those. Also, some of the help sections of the platforms such as Google Meet or Zoom, they give you some tips on how to conduct online trainings as well. So this is a massive resource. There are millions of trainers in the world that are using YouTube to conduct trainings or to help you learn how to conduct online trainings. So definitely it's the time for us to learn the skills that we want. If we have a lot of free time and we are in the mood to learn new skills, to learn about different topics, there are a lot of services that are giving away free services, such as Blinkist, where you can read books or listen to the main points of books in 12 minutes, and they're giving a free 1 month trial during this period. There's a lot of services where you can read free books online or learn specific skills. And so take advantage of these promotions to be able to better yourself during this period. So we will be wrapping up the session now. I would like to ask, before I do that, I would also like to recognize Executive Vice President Asha Oklo from Mauritius. I saw she is on the is watching the stream as well. So hello, my boss. And I would like to leave the floor to the remaining board members to say their closing remarks. I will start with EVP Kevin.
Hey everyone, and I got to speak quite a bit already, so just want to share, and in terms of closing with you, this is not the end, and I think you need to embrace that. As I said earlier when we started our session, we were very prophetic when we chose our tagline last year. We said that we want to be developing leaders for a changing world. You want to know what? The world has changed. It's changed dramatically, a lot more than we could ever even have imagined when we started this year. But this is a time for us to be innovative, to think outside the box, to do like how our predecessors did before us and how they were able to come through the many challenges over the years to make this organization be one that is over a century years in terms of years old. So you have the opportunity to create a legacy. You have the opportunity to set a foundation for us to make an impact, not just now, but years to come. And these are just a couple tidbits and a couple tips that were shared in terms of best practices from across the world that you can implement in your local organizations and in your national organizations. Don't put everything to heart. Continue to think of ways in which you can improve. But in the end, remember, no matter what, we, and that is every single one of us, all 5,000 communities, all 100+ countries across the world, we are all in this together because we are JCI. Thank you, and look forward to seeing the excellent projects and the excellent initiatives and the dance groups and everything that you have in your different areas across the world. Feel free to invite me. I'll try my best to show my face. I look forward to seeing you. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so much, EVP Kevin. One thing I want to mention is that the purpose of this session is to bring all this inspiration for ideas to members all over the world. And we are hoping that each area will take the guidelines that we have set and reconduct this session in their own languages. So if you want a session in French or Spanish or Japanese or any other local area language, please ask your vice president, and hopefully they will be able to conduct it for your members. Closing remarks now from VP Uno.
Thank you very much, VP Moore. So in closing, I would like to say that we have a huge crisis on our hands, and our organization's mission is to provide development opportunities. Well, there is a saying that says that crisis presents the most opportunities. In fact, when we are going through these hard times, this is where the most opportunities can be harnessed. Whatever it is that we're going through, it is a problem and it is a challenge, but it also presents an equally great opportunity for us to develop ourselves and to make an impact in our communities. So don't forget that. Don't be swamped by the heaviness of what is coming to us. Know that every season that comes with this negativity also has a silver lining in it, And you can tap into that and see what it is that you can do now to develop your local communities and to connect with the rest of the world. Thank you very much for coming through, and thank you for this platform.
Thank you very much, VP Uno, all the way from South Africa. And now I would like to leave the floor for VP Shenella from West Indies for her closing remarks.
Thank you very much, VP Mo. Thank you, audience, for attending today's session. And although things are challenging at this time, now is the time as active citizens to show how great we are at combating challenges, how good we are as active citizens to rise above challenges. Although we're only meeting virtually, I eagerly look forward to the time when we can meet physically and we can share in warm hugs and embrace each other once again. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remain connected.
Thank you for VP Anna from Bulgaria.
First to thank everyone who joined us today. Really appreciate that you're with us. And for final words, I will mention one few words that I actually used for another speech that I did recently. Words from Vivian Green that life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning how to dance in the rain. And I believe that we as JCI members have to dance in the current rain, and every rain that is out there, we have to change problems and challenges into opportunities, as VP Uno mentioned. And I'm confident that we are bold and brave enough to do it and be the inspiration for others to follow. Now is our time to be strong and make the most of that is hidden within us, and to bring it to its potential and to make the change that we want to see and to make the future better. Thank you.
Thank you, VP Anna, very much. I think that is everybody. VP Heather and VP Jenni had to move on to other sessions that they are conducting. So thank you all very much for being with us today. I would like to leave you with a small word. As the world is encountering this hard time, we have an opportunity to demonstrate our leadership skills and be part of the support movement that we are witnessing on all levels. We are all in this together. Our unity is the only way to overcome this pandemic. We have been trained to be active citizens. Our skills and values are highly needed in these troubled times. It is the time to show our members and the world what JCI can do on every level. So finally, I would like to thank the board members who are with me, took the time to develop this session. It's been weeks we've been trying to develop the content together and to develop the slides and coordinate on for her help in conducting the back end of this session. I would also like to thank all of you for joining us today on this live stream. I hope you have learned things that you can take back to your national and local organizations and all of your members. One thing you have to remember that all of the board members, us VPs and EVPs, and of course the world president are here for anything that you might need. So do not hesitate to contact us for any training needs or motivation needs or any support that you need from our side. So with this, I would like to wish you a good day and I hope to see you very soon physically or online, and stay safe.